Shalom everyone. So today we're continuing with Parshat Vayeira. Hashem appears to Avram. Avram is wounded. He's just been circumcised at 100 years old. It's difficult. And so Hashem makes it that it's sweltering hot and no one's traveling the desert on that day. So Avram is supposed to rest in the tent, but Avram doesn't want to do that. Avram's essence is to help other people. So he's waiting at the entrance to his tent. Maybe he'll have an opportunity to take in a guest. And Hashem comes to visit the sick. The idea of that is checking what a person needs. And what Avram needs is to continue his mission in life, to take in guests. So Hashem makes three angels appear in the form of human beings. They look like three Arabs. Avram sees them in this vision and he runs out to greet them and he says, please come, let me give you a little bit of bread, a little bit of water, you'll eat, and then you'll continue on your journey. So he brings them under the tree. This is the first sukkah we have in Tanakh. He brings them to rest in the shade. And Avram is standing there making sure their every need is taken care of. He prepares each of them a royal tongue with mustard. He asks his wife to prepare good bread for them. He asks his son Yishmael, who's also freshly circumcised, to rush and help prepare the meat. And so Avram takes care of them. And then they ask him, where is Sarah? And they're trying to make Avram appreciate that she's unique, that wherever we go, women are sitting with the men. You have a modest wife. Where is Sarah? Now, Sarah's had a transformation because today, Sarah regains the beauty of her youth. Sarah goes back to the ability to have children. She becomes youthful once again. And this will stay with Sarah till the day she dies. This beauty of 20-year-old. And Avram says, she's in the tent. That's where Sarah always is. She's in the tent. But she's listening intently because she's curious. God created women very curious. She's listening to what's happening. And the angel, who's dressed up as an Arab, he says, I will come back to you on the next holiday, on Pesach. And Sarah's going to have a child. Now, Sarah was old and shriveled until that moment, so she didn't think this was possible, so she started laughing. And Hashem said to Avram, why did Sarah laugh? I can do anything. You will see that she will have that child. And when Avram confronts Sarah with it, so she denies it. She feels like, how would you know? But Avram says, no, God said you laugh. No, shouldn't have laughed. Now, these angels, they have a mission. They're heading out to Sodom and Amorah to turn them over. The Sodomites have been so cruel. They took Lot's daughter, they wrapped her in honey, and they had her stung to death over the fact that she took care of one poor person. And so these angels are coming, so to speak, to witness firsthand what's going on in Sodom, and they teach us that lesson that before you judge, you have to see firsthand what's going on. And so they're continuing to Sodom, and Avram is told by God, I am about to destroy Sodom. Now, on the one hand, this is good for Avram because Sodom is the antithesis of Avram. If Avram represents kindness, well, Sodom represents cruelty. On the other hand, when Avram had been victorious in his war against the four kings, he had all the Sodomites in his possession, so to speak. And he had relinquished that. He had given the king of Sodom rulership over Sodom. So there's a certain element of guilt to Avram that Sodom, all these people are now going to be killed. So when the angels show up to Sodom, Lot invites them in with much risk to himself. And all the Sodomites surround his house and they're ready to kill him and violate the people that have come to him. And they're there because they don't want any minuscule act of kindness in their midst. And so the angels whisk Lot and his wife and two daughters out of there. The rest of his family will perish with the Sodomites, and they command them not to look back. When there's destruction behind you, you have to focus forward. Lot's wife does look back, and she becomes a pillar of salt. But Lot escapes with his two daughters to a cave. And Avram, before the destruction, Avram stood bargaining. God, maybe there are 50, 45, 40, 30, 20, 10 righteous people in the city. We see that 10 righteous people can save a whole city, but there are no 10 righteous people. And so Sodom is overturned. It turns into sulfur. It turns into the area of the Dead Sea. And Avram must go on with life knowing that all the men, women, and children of Sodom, he hadn't succeeded in influencing them, and they all perished. Now Avram is going to have a child, Yitzchak. And as Yitzchak grows, Avram sees that the son he had from the maid, Yishmael is trying to teach him all kinds of negative things. He says, don't think Avram's your real father. He says, don't think you should really serve God. There are other things in this world. So Avram's not sure what he's supposed to do. And Sarah says, you can't continue bringing the house this way. You must send Hagar and her son because they're going to destroy our education. And Avram doesn't want to listen. And God says to Avram, you must listen to Sarah. So Hagar and her son are sent off into the desert, and an angel appears to give them water because Yishmael is going to perish in the heat. So Yishmael wasn't that bad, and having the miracle that gave him water, but Yishmael's potential for destroying the house of Avram, that was very real. So Yishmael will grow up in the desert, and then God gives Avram a mitzvah. He says to him, please, I want you to offer me your son. And we have the famous story of the Akedah, where Avram could have said no. Hashem said, no, please, giving Avram the opportunity to say no. But Avram lived his life based on one question. What does God want? Not what can I get away with? So he says, if that's what you want, God, I'll do it. And in the final moments, Hashem appears and says to him, I did not mean to sacrifice him. I meant bring him up the mountain in my name. I said, bring him to me. I didn't say slaughter him, and slaughter the animal instead. But that moment where Avram was willing to give up everything, and he had no idea what God wanted of him, but he was still willing to do it, that remains etched for generations. That was the second Rosh Hashanah we meet in the Torah. The first was Adam's Judgment Day, and the second is the Akedah, which we mention every year on Rosh Hashanah, about how great our forefather Avram was, that when God said, can you please do something, he said, if that's what you want, I'm on board. Shabbat Shalom.